Have you ever considered working with BPO companies? Maybe as a technical support professional because of your experience in networking using remote desktop connections? If your answer is yes, this is the video that you need to consider. Welcome back everyone. Jeffrey Antonico Diaz is here, and this is the significance of old school technology. A remote desktop is an application that lets you connect to and control the remote computer, virtual desktops, or applications from the local computer made by the administrator. Therefore, the computer must have elevated permission in order to run a remote desktop procedure. In this activity, the two computers use dynamic IP addresses, which means that the two computers are dynamically assigned by the wireless router. Note, this also applies to any computer with static IP addresses and a wired connection. Since we're talking about IP addressing, let's try to differentiate static from dynamic. Static IP addresses are assigned manually by the information technology professional or the internet service provider, compared to dynamic IP addresses that are automatically assigned by a DHCP server. Static IP addresses are fixed and permanent, unlike dynamic IP addresses, which are temporary and changeable. Static IP addresses are much better to use for devices that need a constant connection, such as servers, while dynamic IP addresses are better for devices that need to save bandwidth or avoid network conflicts. Now that we know some of the features of dynamic and static IP addresses, let's move on with the activity proper by using the second computer. Note, the configuration that we are about to consider is based on the previous video related to basic network preparation. Launch your desired command line interface. Let's try to check if this computer is ready by executing the following commands. Next is the Windows firewall. Now, let's continue by verifying the computer's name. After that, let's try to display the machine's IP configuration. Similar to the second computer, we also need to check the machine's name and IP address of the first computer. This is very important to avoid possible conflicts in networking. As you can see, the credentials are different. Okay, so let's proceed by launching remote desktop connection. In this case, you can use either the computer name or IP address. Note, as of now, we can't establish any remote connections. So maybe these are the reasons why we can't connect to the remote computer. Remote access to the server is not enabled. The remote computer is turned off. The remote computer is not available on the network. What do you think is the reason behind that? So let's try to find out the root cause of the problem. Okay, so let's try to check if the remote desktop is enabled or not. As you can see, the remote desktop option on the second computer is disabled. So what we're going to do now is enable it. Now, let's go back to the first computer and do the procedure again. You can use any account with the elevated permission. But in this example, I'm going to use the administrator account. As you can see now, I have full control over the remote computer. Always remember that at all times, the best thing to do is consider the fundamental ideas of networking and remote desktop connections and never give up on fixing simple problems. So that's it for today's activity. I cannot wait to see you in the next episodes of this series. May God bless us, and don't forget to subscribe.